You're listening to Change Your POV podcast, episode 13.
Just because you think you're okay doesn't mean you're okay. How are you affecting the people around you? Let's look at that for a second. Ask your wife or your kids or your mom or your dad or your grandparents or whoever your significant other is. You know, they're probably going to be like, yeah, so your times when you're a little fucked up. Because I know my wife does it to me every day. Dude, what's up with you? Shut up.
Welcome to Change Your POV podcast, helping you navigate transitions in your life like entering and exiting college or the military, changing jobs or careers, and providing you with the coaching and mentorship needed to help you advance in your personal or professional life. Sometimes all you need is to change your point of view. Now, here's your host, Eddie Lazary.
And I think that, the feelings of depression and worthlessness and, sadness and culture shock and all of these things that people experience when they separate from the military, oftentimes can be remedied, I guess is the best way to put it, but can be remedied by just getting involved. And you don't have to, volunteer to be, the chapter head of some whatever, but all you have to really do is just raise your hand and say, yeah, I'll help with that, or I'll get involved with that. And,
oh, yeah.
And there's just so many groups out there, and there's physical groups in your local area. There's groups online. There's just groups and organizations all over the place for veterans. And it doesn't matter what your interests are. It doesn't matter what you like or dislike, or what branch of service you were in, or how long you were in, or where you served, whether you're a man or a woman, what rank you are. It doesn't matter. There is something out there for everyone to be a part of something and to get involved. And really, that's all this discussion is about. So in 2016, if you've separated from the military, or you're looking to separate from the military, Bennett and I are going to talk about different ways. Don't know how many different ways yet. We didn't put a number to it, but we're going to talk about different ways and different organizations you too can get involved and be part of a team outside the military. So with that, I'm your host, Eddie Lazary, and this is yet another episode of Change Your POV podcast. And joined with me again today is Bennett Tanton. How are you doing, sir?
Good, Eddie.
And so I kind of already kicked off the show, more or less, and with my editing prowess, I will piece everything together and I'll make it sound seamless. But
I love it.
But let's just jump right in and just say, you know what? 2016 is the year to get involved. How can veterans get involved? I mean, short of walking down Main Street on Memorial or Veterans Day, like what else can we do?
There's so many things, man. I mean, and this is one of the things that I really push heavy as being, I am a peer support specialist by trade. That is my day job. That is what I do for a living, is help veterans find ways to get better.
So real quick, Bennett, what is a peer support specialist?
A peer support specialist is basically I'm certified, and my certification is in the state of North Carolina, but there's certifications across the country in different states, usually by state agencies that certify these. Basically, you have to have been you have to be in recovery, whether it is mental illness or substance abuse, right? Whether it's drugs, alcohol, whatever, or post-traumatic stress, things along those lines, and depression, anxiety, you pick. As long as you're in recovery, you have to be in recovery for at least 12 months to even start the process of becoming a certified peer support specialist. So basically what a peer support specialist does is helps people of like issue navigate to wellness, to go from the dark to the light, to whatever way you want to put it, basically helping somebody get better because using their tools, techniques, and their example of going down that path to help people that are on the path just farther back than that person.
So what I hear you saying is, if I'm suffering from, say, sexual trauma, I wouldn't be paired with a peer support specialist that is dealing with alcoholism, for example.
Well, no, best case scenario is you be paired with somebody that has sexual, that's dealt with sexual trauma as well.
Okay.
But with that being said, that's not necessarily always necessary. Just especially with veterans, the biggest hurdle with veterans is somebody that's been there, done that.
Right.
Usually, somebody that's been deployed, that's been, spilled blood in the same mud. Whether or not it's a Vietnam veteran with a guy from OEF, OIF, or even a guy way back in Korea. Like I deal with guys that are Korean War vets. Even I have a group that I run every twice a month. That literally I have guys in there that are Korean War vets, up to guys that are OIF, OEF vets, and we talk about everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's basically, it's basically a substance abuse group, but we talk about everything. So it's just, especially with veterans, a group is a group is a group. Not all groups are created equal, but for the most part, you're going to find some kind of benefit from it.
Sure. That's, and, when you hear words like sexual abuse trauma or substance abuse, those are scary, scary things. And a lot of people, in my experience, a lot, one of the largest barriers to seeking assistance or help is getting over that label, right?
Or even admitting that there's an issue.
There was a guy I served with. We served together, and he was seriously injured in Iraq. So much so that he was, in a medically induced coma for over a month when he came back to Walter Reed in order to allow his body to heal. And still to this day, dealing with issues, and he will the rest of his life. And he shared with me, they had him on so much painkillers and medication, morphine drips, and eventually got to like oxycodone and codeine and all this other stuff. And through no fault of his own, just through the nature of his injuries and what he was suffering through, ended up growing a dependency to this medication. And, was never a drug user in the past, even before his military time. And he felt just so, comes from a Christian, background, family, very, very close religious family, and just felt very, like ashamed almost that he was suffering from something that was, considered to be, horrifically immoral in their family. And it's like, it's like, dude, it's like this isn't your fault. You know what I mean? It's like you're growing a dependency to a drug because of an injury you sustained serving your country. Like, it's okay. We can get, you can get help and you can get through this. And he's since gotten through it. And he now works at the VA, as a matter of fact. And, to your point, anybody that walks into his VA today that is struggling with substance abuse, he can look at them square in the eyes and say, I've been there. I know what you're dealing with. I know how you feel. And just that feeling that there's been somebody else that's walked a mile in my shoes goes a whole hell of a long way.
I have a guy, very similar type story, but it's a person that I've helped who is a retired lieutenant colonel, infantry officer, okay, who became a heroin addict and became homeless and lost everything. because of his dependency on, opiates.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, the VA prescribing could not keep up with his need, and heroin was cheaper.
Mm.
So at the end of the day, it's guys are cut from all kinds of cloth. I mean, this guy's I'm pretty sure he's not a West Point grad, but retired lieutenant colonel, infantry officer from the Army, homeless because he gained a heroin dependency.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now he's
happens.
off the street. He's off the
Right.
street. He's getting better. I mean, there's a low point for everybody. But without all this, I mean, we can talk about this type of stuff all day long. But what we're really trying to talk about is ways guys can get active and get I have an article or a blog post that I wrote. If you want to go check it out on Cigars and Sea Stories, the blog, or you can dig it up. Just look about anywhere, whether it's my Facebook page, my LinkedIn page, or any of it. And it's called "You Can't Be Sad If You're Being Useful." And that resonates with me. And I wrote the blog post, and basically what it comes down to is that if you're helping others, you're helping yourself, because it literally takes away the focus from you and puts the focus on other people that you're trying to help. And in turn, you heal. Now, it doesn't work for everyone, but I've always found that if I am helping others, I have no time to focus on the bad things that are going on with me. So in turn, most of the things just switch over to good because I'm putting it all out there in a positive way. Whether you're working at a food bank or serving, at a soup kitchen, or working, one day a week at a the VFW to help with whatever. I mean, there's so many options out there for everyone to just give their time or be a peer mentor or whatever. It doesn't even have to be veteran related,
Right.
I mean, one of the best jobs I ever had was working at this organization in Wilmington, North Carolina, called Good Shepherd. It's actually the Good Shepherd Center. And I worked for a program that they have called Second Helpings. And what we would do is we'd have volunteers come in, and they would go out and pick up food from the local community at like Costco, Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, Lowe's Foods, Food Lion, Hardee's, you name it. And we would go collect the food that they were going to throw away, and we would redistribute it to the community through other avenues, other shelters, and through the soup kitchen at Good Shepherd Center. That was one of the most fulfilling jobs I ever had. I mean, it even got down to, we didn't waste anything, to the point where the stuff that we weren't going to use, fruits and vegetables and breads and things, we had a hog farmer and chicken farmers come pick that up, feed it to the hogs and feed it to their chickens. And then at the end of the year, they would give us a couple hogs and some chickens to use.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? Yeah. That was one of the most fulfilling jobs I ever had, and it had nothing to do with veterans.
Right. So, well, I'm sure it inadvertently helped veterans. Or maybe
it did. They actually have a grant per diem program there called, I think it's the Eugene Ashley House, which is part of Good Shepherd, the Good Shepherd Center, which is run by a bunch of fantastic folks. So they do. It inadvertently helped. It actually fed that program. You know what I mean? So the guys that were in that program got fed because of this program. So pretty cool stuff. But you could do that anywhere. There's programs like this across the country in your local communities and whatnot. Or just even get involved with, a lot of people poo-poo it, but like Wounded Warrior Project has a pretty good peer mentoring program.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I mean, I participate in it, and it is what it is. People can flip me off or whatever. But at the end of the day, I'm helping people. What are you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I
So
mean?
I think, yeah. So to bring everybody up to speed, I think was it just this week or was it last week? There was some media coverage about Wounded Warrior.
Well, there's been a ton of media coverage about Wounded Warrior suing other charities and nonprofits
Yeah.
for copyright infringement or trademark infringement on whether it's a logo or a or whatever or
Yeah.
name or I mean who knows, even my 501c3 Warrior Hall, I mean who knows, I might get sued by him because I have Warrior in the name. But at
Right.
the end
Right.
of the day, you know unfortunately it's a business, and unfortunately that's how it's run.
Mm-hmm.
um I
So I
can't
think,
defend any of that, but I can defend the people that work in the trenches there every day and do really
yes.
good work.
Yes.
Whether it's to your liking or not, I don't know, but they're the 400-pound gorilla in the room. They're not going anywhere. So
Yeah.
usually when you become a big target, could they do better things for veterans? Of course they could. But they do have programs. And
And that,
at the end of the day, whether you choose to participate or not, most of the people that I hear, bashing them haven't even been involved.
right.
So
Yeah.
I
You're
don't know
right.
what to say. I mean, yes, is it hokey sometimes? Absolutely. But I'll tell you what, like for an example, here we go. You want to talk about doing good. Wounded Warrior Project, along with a charity in East Baltimore, right? I'm going on, me, my kids, my entire family are going in. This charity's name is the Sixth Branch, okay, meaning veterans. The Sixth
Mm-hmm.
Branch is in Baltimore. They're basically trying to reclaim East Baltimore, and they do all kinds of community projects. I mean, they've turned vacant lots into farms, urban farms and stuff. We were there with Wounded Warrior Project, the Sixth Branch, Mission Continues, um, Team Red, White, and Blue. I mean, these are all big name, charities in the veteran space, right? And we
Mm-hmm.
were clearing this lot to plant vegetables for a local community. On Martin Luther King Day, we're going to refurb a playground in Baltimore. All right. That's something that the Wounded Warrior Project is doing along with other charities. So, I
Right.
mean, you can say what you want to say, but at the end of the day, they're still doing things that people aren't doing.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter. I think you bring up a good point. It doesn't matter whether it's Wounded Warrior, it's Veterans Affairs, if it's VFW, if it's American Legion. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. At the end of the day, these are all organizations of some type, whether they're profit, for profit, nonprofit, whatever the case may be. They're all still organizations. They're all created by human beings, and not all human beings
Absolutely.
are on the up and up, right? And there's a lot of people that see this market, we'll call it the military market, as lucrative, and people are going to be out there and are going to exploit it and take advantage. I mean, and that's true for any business and any organization. So, without going down the rat hole of all of the negative things these organizations may bring to the table, just keep in mind that it doesn't matter what organization it is, whether it's veterans related or not. Anytime you're dealing with any organization of two or more people, you're going to have conflict.
Absolutely.
End
especially
of the day.
especially with one that's a $400 million behemoth. They make a
Right.
big target.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, sure.
And there's a lot of awesome stuff. I mean, geez, if you guys really want to do something good, go join Team Rubicon. Talk about an amazing charity that repurposes veterans.
Yeah. Talk about that group real
So
quick.
Team Rubicon is an organization that basically does disaster relief, domestically and abroad. Co-founded, well, one of the co-founders I think there's technically two founders, but the one co-founder, his name is Jake Wood, and he was a Marine Scout sniper, been all over the news, really good guy. I actually met him at EBV. He was our keynote speaker for the opening night. And they literally have chapters across the country, and they go like with these tornadoes that we just had this last week. There's
Yep.
guys from Team Rubicon on the ground.
Mm.
You know what I mean? They were in Haiti. They've been in Nepal with the earthquake last year, or this year, earlier this year. You know, typhoons, you name it, and they usually send a team out. So you've got groups like them. Then you have groups like the Mission Continues, who is founded by he was a Navy SEAL. They do a lot of work with Team Rubicon as well, but they do community projects across the country. They have fellowships that allow veterans to get into this nonprofit space where they actually draw a salary. So look into that if it's something that piques your interest. You know, there's literally no end to it. There's something like 40,000 plus veteran service organizations across the country. Now, how many of those really do any work? I don't know. But you could probably at least let's knock it down to 10%. Let's just say there's like 4,600 out there doing real good work.
Yeah, and many of these are national organizations that have, you know, local chapters throughout, and then others are uniquely local, you know, specific to an area or region of the country, and growing probably. But so I think the first thing to do would be just to, I mean, I got on here just for shits and giggles, and I Googled, let's see, veterans organizations, and I got a Google return of 78,100,000
right
search results, right? So you can, and that's veteran organizations. Now you could, you know, narrow that down and type in, you know, local veteran organizations, and even, you know, drill down even more and type in your town or city or region or state or whatever. But you're right, it is virtually endless, and I think to a large degree, a lot of the reasons why people don't want to get involved is because they don't know where to start, because there's just so much information. There's so many
It is kind of
options.
overwhelming. I mean,
it is.
I can tell you, I mean, I can give you names of dozens and dozens of different organizations where either I know the founders, I know the owners or whatever, just because I've either done work with them or we've interviewed them on the show or whatever. So there's literally a million, whether it's your interests or service dogs or helping homeless, or, you know, it's literally sky's the limit. And frankly, if you have questions about it, feel free to email me. Send me an email. I will tell you, and I can probably tell you something in your neighborhood. You know, whether you live in Texas or Portland or Idaho, there's probably an organization that I've got some kind of contact with. Or heck, you could become a part of my organization whenever it goes live. You know what I mean? So just don't. If you to do something that helps people, by all means, get involved. It's just, I'm telling you, it will help you to no end. And, you know, people laugh at me because I used to be, you know, I'm this rough, gruff kind of guy. And now I'm like a freaking social worker. You know, it's asinine. Yeah. But I look at it as what you would call like post-traumatic growth.
Right. Yeah.
So I've grown out of the post-traumatic stress to something where it's empowered me to go fix stuff.
So there's really kind of two. Well, there's more than two, but let's group everybody that we're talking to tonight into two groups. You got people that are searching for veteran organizations because they're seeking assistance, whether it be help with, sexual trauma, it's help with substance abuse, it's help with financial services, help with child services, help with the list goes on and on of things that folks may want or need, right, in terms of benefits, anything like that. So that you got that category. We'll call them people that are in Group A. Those are people that are in need of or in search of help and or assistance. And then you got Group B, and those are people that may be interested in those services and benefits, but are really looking for ways to give back or to get involved, or to just be a part of an organization or be part of a team again, or be part, and that's a lot of it too, is when people leave or separate from the military, they're part of this, whether they realize it at the time or not, they're part of this larger organization of like-minded individuals that are all striving to accomplish the same goal. And that team cohesion, team unity, esprit de corps, whatever you want to call it, it exists. It exists organically within military organization. And then when you separate out and you find yourself in the civilian sector and you move away from that, you find yourself very quickly kind of wanting and needing that back in your life. At least I'm speaking from my experience, and I can speak for a lot of folks that I've spoken with that have all experienced this. I mean, granted, we all have our friends in our family, but we've lost a big part of what we really valued when we were in the military, and that's just that large organization that we can tune into and be part of something bigger than ourselves. So those people will put into Group B. So when we're talking over the course of this podcast, we're going to list. I'm already capturing a list of veteran services, but what we'll do is at the end we'll identify which ones are catered or more catered towards the Group A individuals, and which ones would be grouped more towards the Group B individuals. That make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we got our typical big ones, right? VFW. Those guys have been around forever.
And there's a lot of good VFW and the Legion.
Yep.
There's a lot of good things going on there, where they're trying to really revamp their image of the drinking hall bingo parlor type thing with a lot of these local chapters. And a lot of them have gotten kind of, I guess you could say, for lack of a better way of putting it, taken over by new veterans, the OIF, OEF guys, or guys that were in the late 80s and early 90s, and guys that are a little younger, maybe in their 40s and below, that have said, you guys aren't offering the type of stuff that we need. Right. So let's change the game here. So that's happened quite a bit, believe it or not. And
I think it's important that you mention that, because I think that's kind of the perception that a lot of people have over those older organizations like the VFW and American Legion. People are like, I want to get involved. I have a substance abuse problem. The last thing I really need right now is just to go and get lit in one of these establishments. But you're saying is in a large degree over the last, say, 10 years or so, since OIF, OEF, they're starting to change and become more facilitators of services and things that veterans today are in need of.
Some have, right.
Some, yeah. So, I mean, if you're wondering if your local VFW or American Legion is one of those, then, look them up online, figure out when their next meet is, and just shoot in there for a night and just kind of do a little recon, scope it out.
If you feel inclined, pick up the reins and go after it, brother. You know what I mean?
There you go. Yeah.
Just get out there and change it. Don't, we can sit here and bitch about it all we want. But who's going to change it? We're going to change it. So make it happen. Stop talking and make it happen. Action. Action speaks louder than words.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And then the largest one out there by far, and it's been in the news probably more than any, and that's the VA itself, right? Yeah. And of course they have. I'm not even going to get into the laundry list of services and benefits that they provide, and they're everywhere.
It's one of those things too. Is a lot of people also will not. The VA offers benefits that you are, and I'm going to use this word, as a veteran, you are entitled to these benefits. You have already paid for them, whether it's in blood or in time or in whatever. Okay. Now I work for that organization, and I'm telling you, as a peer support specialist to all you veterans out there, take advantage of what is put in front of you. If you don't want to, you're just flushing it down the river or flushing it down the toilet. Now, yes, do we have to deal with nightmares, and do we have to deal with crap that goes along with it? Absolutely. But at least get in the system, because when you're 85 and you have no other recourse, trust me, it's still going to be there, whether you like it or not. And it's not because I have some love for the VA. Trust me, I don't. I bitch about them every day, every single day. I mean, there's plenty of times I wish I could have just walked into the secretary's office and be like, seriously, this is how we're going to run this joint? You know?
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, I catch flack for it all the time. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of good people offering good services at the Veterans Administration. They're not, and not all of it is not created equal. Some hospitals are better than others. Some benefits offices are better than others, you know? But at the end of the day, I mean, people, you can go or you cannot go. But at the end of the day, I feel it's a detriment if you don't. Whether you want to partake in their medical care or whatnot, that's fine. But at least know the benefits that are afforded to you. And if you get to the point where you need to take advantage of them, then at least you know, and you're already there. Right. Period. Whether or not you want to be, you know, seen for your back pain or your knee pain or your leg pain or whatever. I didn't really go to the VA for years. Other than like the, you know, preventive type care, and kind of like, you know, the physical every year. I didn't go there for my medical care. I had medical insurance. Went to a different doctor, you know, or the chiropractor or whatever. But that still doesn't mean I'm not in the system.
Sure. And one of the greatest assets that I found going to the VA personally is, and I can only speak to the VA that I went to. I don't know if all VAs have this. I'm sure most do, if not all. But they have basically a resource list. So they have companies, local companies and organizations within the area that they can help point you to and help you get involved. And we're talking not just services from a medical standpoint, but there's the VA. I've talked with them, and they've been able to provide me with a list of names of companies or businesses within the area that are hiring veterans. So, I mean, I use the VA as a resource to gather more information about third-party, non-VA related companies and organizations.
There's
in my
so
area.
many things that the VA can offer you that people just have no idea. And that's kind of why, like, there's guys like me, because I help guys navigate the system, guys and girls navigate the system, because there's all kinds of resources, just like what you brought up, that they don't advertise it.
No, they don't.
But at the end of the day, the benefits are still there.
Yeah, I asked my buddies that are out now. I'm like, so, you know, when was the last time you've gone to the VA? And they're like, hell, man, I'm not going to the VA. Last time I went there, I sat in the waiting room for 5 hours waiting. But that's what everybody associates the VA with. It's just sitting in an emergency room or waiting in a doctor's office, waiting for, you know, the long line of what. But the VA is so much more than that, and that's the part that I think is missing here. Is it's a resource for so many things other than just, you know, sitting in a waiting room waiting for your doctor to check out your swollen tooth or whatever the case may be. So I think we've kind of kicked the VA horse to death. Unless there's anything else you want to mention, I think we'll go down the list of some other ones.
No, I I'm just saying, you have a tool belt, all right,
Mm.
as a veteran, and of things that are offered to you. You know, you strap it on when you're done serving. Put your tool belt on, just like you're, going in to build a house. The VA is a tool that's on your tool belt. And
Now,
and
we got to be clear, Bennett. This tool belt is not like the tool bag that you get issued to you with your Humvee, right?
No.
You sign for your tool bag when you sign for a Humvee, and you get a hammer, and you get a flat tip screwdriver and a Phillips screwdriver. That's it.
Right.
I don't even know why they have a bag for
it's really
those.
funny.
But but that's all you get.
This is like a tool belt, as though if you were like working on a house or something.
Okay.
So, there's all kinds of things out there, whether it's, it's just a tool, and use it as such, whether you want to get knee deep in it or not. Hey, at the very least, go get a home loan through them. Seriously, no money down.
Right.
You know what I mean? And, come on. There's sometimes you gotta, and technically, if you're using the GI Bill, you're part of the system with the VA. So, suck it up, people. I mean, seriously. At the end of the day, yes, it does. There's plenty about it that sucks. It sucks bad. But again, who's going to change it?
Right.
We are. So
that's right.
Guys like me that go get a job and work from the inside out. I can tell you there's so many veterans there, not enough. There's so many veterans that work really hard every day to help other veterans. And trust me, they're usually not the people shitting all over people.
Absolutely.
So at the end of the day, hey, get on USA Jobs and get a freaking job and work for the VA. Yeah, it's hard to get in, but if it was easy, everybody would do it.
Exactly.
So,
right.
Again, stop belly aching, get out there and fix it yourself. Help. Or find somebody that'll help you. I'll help you. I swear to you, I will help you in any way I fucking can. Period. I can't help everybody, but I can at least point you in the right direction.
Yeah, but I mean, this will be, granted, I'm just starting, right? But this will be, when it releases, it will be episode 13.
Yeah, I was going to say 12 or 13. Right?
Yeah, so it's episode 13, and at the end of all my podcasts, I give everybody an offer to hit me up directly, and I provide my personal email address and say, contact me. And I also provide contact information for the folks that I have on that I'm interviewing, if they so choose
and that
to.
Includes me. I'll give you.
And include you.
I mean, I'm telling you, my personal phone number's out there.
Yeah,
all you got to do is get on my Facebook page or my LinkedIn.
But nobody's taking advantage of it.
I haven't gotten a call about
I haven't gotten an email. I haven't either. Nobody wants to take. Everybody wants to bitch and cry and moan and complain about they can't get help, can't find help. Nobody wants to whatever.
At the end of the day, too, though, I'm not saying that they're not rightfully bitching about it. They absolutely are.
Sure,
but you have to
somebody's
help
offering.
yourself.
You have to help yourself. If somebody sticks out their hand and says, "Take my hand, I want to help you,"
take the fucking hand.
And you choose not to take it, and then sit there and bitch and cry because nobody's wanting to help you out, then you know what?
Yeah, no,
you just stop bitching and crying because nobody wants to hear you
anymore. The biggest mantra in my line of work is you can lead a horse to water.
That's right.
And it's the truth. I do it every day. I lead, in any given day, I'll talk to 5 to, let's just say 5 veterans. And I'll lead all 5 of them to water. And on any given day, maybe one of them will drink.
Right.
And that's kind of sad.
And what's the excuses of the other?
Who knows whether it's they're still hooked on drugs or whatever. I mean, I work directly with homeless veterans, so it's a tough crowd for lack of a better way of putting it. It's a really tough crowd. But I meet really good people that have a lot to offer. Yeah. But I mean, it's a process. And just because you think you're okay doesn't mean you're okay.
Right.
So,
I like that. That's going to be the quote on this podcast.
The truth. Just because you think you're okay doesn't mean you're okay. How are you affecting the people around you? Let's look at that for a second. Ask your wife or your kids or your mom or your dad or your grandparents or whoever your significant other is. You know, they're probably going to be like, yeah, your times when you're a little fucked up. Because I know my wife does it to me every day. Dude, what's up with you? Shut up. You know, you're acting like a fucking crazy person. Stop yelling at the kids. Stop doing this. Stop yelling at the dog. Stop yelling at me for nothing.
Yeah.
This is asinine. Trust me, I'm in recovery always.
Right.
Never, ever take it personally. You just have to move on. If you want to grow, freaking sack up and grow. Seriously. I mean, people have issues. I get it. I've been there, done that. I have friends that, oh my God. And I find myself, I look at myself as lucky, you know, but like, if you want to look at it, post-traumatic stress, let's take it down this road for just a second. Post-traumatic stress, I was diagnosed back in the 90s. Okay. Then I ignored it for years and years. I mean, literally close to 20 years, I ignored it. You know what I mean? I tried the little treatment. I got some pills, this and that, and then I pushed it away. And then I fought it for a decade, 20 years, 2 decades, okay? Until it literally almost ended me. Because you're burning the candle at both ends, boys and girls.
Yep.
And when you run out of wax, what the fuck is left? Okay? And people can be like, well, what did you ever? You know, you were never in, you know, whatever, combat, or, you know, I don't have a cab, or I don't have a, you know, this, that, and the other. Well, you know, people don't know me. They also don't know what I did in the military necessarily. You can read a resume, but that doesn't necessarily say it. Plus, who knows what somebody can talk about. You know what I mean? Plus, I'm not a guy that's going to be out there like, here's what I did, and my dick's bigger than yours. I'm not that guy. So at the end of the day, you know what? Who gives a fuck what I did? I can just tell you that I have issues. And I deal with them every single day. But I deal with them.
Right.
And that's what other people need to do as well. And I'm telling you that for me, the best way that I deal with them is I help other people. That's,
you get involved.
I get involved.
Stay busy and get involved.
And I don't say, man, what, you know, these guys should do that, or these guys should do that. No, I get out and I do it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they call those the Monday morning
I go drag
quarterbacks.
guys out of the fucking, I'm not even bullshitting. I go down on a Monday morning and I drag people out from under homeless dudes out from under a bridge. All right. To go get them help. And get them housed, get them off drugs, getting them off shit. You want to sit there and you want to judge those people? Well, fuck you. At the end of the day, those people could be you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
you're right.
Enough with the judgment. And see, I flipped out on my podcast the other day about this stuff. I'm not going to do it on yours, Eddie. I'm just going to be nice and calm about it. But stop pointing fingers at other people. Stop poo-pooing on people's shit. Stop judging. Oh my God, are we not the most judgmental freaking population in the United States?
Oh, hell
Veterans, stop judging people. Because guess what? Your shit's fucked up too. At the end of the day, you're as fucked up as almost everybody.
Right.
You're just not looking in the mirror hard enough.
Right.
And or shame on you because you're not as fucked up as everybody else. Shame on you for not helping the guys that are.
Yeah.
Shame on you. It's like my buddy Mike Penny always says, when he was in the military, or when he was in the Marine Corps, he was scared shitless to walk from from his barracks to the freaking PX, because, you know, in the Marines, you walk on the grass, you're pushing, you do anything wrong, some freaking, you hear, hey, Marine, out of the corner of your freaking ear from something about something that you're doing wrong, whether your cover's fucked up or whatever. So he would run everywhere he went. And I know I've told this story before, but it's such a good story. he would run everywhere he went. And someone would yell, "Hey, Marine, why are you running?" He would go, "Why aren't you?" That's what I'm saying. Why aren't you? Why aren't you out there doing what you should do to help your community? Because guess what? It goes all along with other things that we've said. If you've listened to other broadcasts or podcasts that we do, the greatest generation, they always say, is World War II. 49% of those guys came back and started or ran their own businesses. All right? Why aren't we?
Right.
That shit changed America. That shit changed America for the better. Now, segue into helping other veterans. Why aren't you? I don't understand it. Why aren't those type of numbers out there creating jobs or helping their fellow veterans get to where we need to go?
Right.
You know, again, there's no I in team. For fuck's sake.
I mean,
this is something that's been beaten into our psyches. At these guys, as soon as they drop their packs, it's like they forget all this shit or they don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah. If we can't help ourselves, what I mean by that is as veterans, if we can't help each other, then who the hell's going to help us?
We are a community. Start fucking acting like one, people.
Yep.
That's what it comes down to. For God's sakes.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
So 2016 is the year to get involved, is what we're saying, is what I'm hearing.
Stop bullshitting.
Stop bullshitting and get involved. Do something.
I don't care. Do something.
Yeah. You know what I realized? The people that talk the loudest are the ones that sit the hardest on their hands. Have you ever noticed that?
It's like the whole here's a I don't have the statistics and I'm not one to throw them out there. But at the end of the day, I love how everyone judges the and I'm not a big time religious guy. I'm just not. Christian, born again. I'm none of that. Okay. But it's funny when you look at the most generous people in America are the Christian right. The conservative Christian community, almost double, is the most generous community or demographic in America. Yet, you hear the liberal left push so hard for all of the, equal justice or equal rights and, this, that, and the other thing. But yet, if you're going to preach and pull for that shit, shouldn't you be the guy who sets the example for it?
Yeah, right. You're absolutely right.
And that's one of those things that I'm not going to tell you to do something that I don't do myself. And I feel like that happens so much in our country. Do as I say, not as I do. And, you always hear about, the entitled, entitlement, or what do they call it? White privilege or whatever. Right. But at the end of the day, the people that are expounding on that shit, they don't give up their slot to the poor black kid in Harlem.
Right.
So if you're telling me that I'm bad because I, got a college degree and I got this and that I went, I'm going to college now and get my master's at a good university. You know what I mean? That I'm bad because of that. But yet you're going to Columbia. Give up your slot to the kid that can't afford it or that can't whatever. Before you judge me, let's take a little responsibility here. And I'm kind of going down a rabbit hole with all this shit, but it's the kind of thing. Preach, practice what you preach, period. And I do. So I'm challenging all of you to do the same thing.
This is it. This is the year you want to start looking at your 2016 goals. Then make this one of your primary goals of 2016 is to find a way to get involved somewhere, somehow.
You want to make a New Year's resolution that actually means something? Make it to help somebody else, not yourself.
There you go.
And
Well,
see what happens.
Well, how many New Year's resolutions, right? You've got the I want to lose weight. I want to go back to the gym.
I want to fucking.
I want to have a better diet. I want to get more sleep at night. I want to grow my hair longer. I want to get LASIK surgery. I want to, get a new car. I want to. That's all you hear when you look up New Year's resolutions. Almost all of them start with I. I want this and I want that. And there's nothing wrong with loving yourself. There's nothing wrong with wanting, more for yourself or there's nothing wrong with wanting to be better, right? To be healthier, to be, whatever. That's all well and good. But I think your point, Bennett, is a good one. And that is, if you want a meaningful, valuable 2016 New Year's resolution, it should have something to do with making someone else's life better than it was yesterday.
Yeah.
And and that could be serving one hungry veteran a meal. You made his life today better than it was yesterday.
I mean seriously, think about this. Take $10 out of your paycheck. This is no shit. And anybody that lives in any city in the nation could do this on a given day.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just say you are a veteran and you're looking for veterans. Go take $10, go to the grocery store and buy food to make basically like 5 sacked lunches. Whether it's, like a bologna sandwich with chips, fruit, give the guy something healthy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Not that I eat the healthiest by any stretch of the imagination, but go give the guy and literally make 5 lunches up and go downtown, whether it's in Baltimore or DC or whatever. And you know what? Hand those sack lunches out.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? I guarantee you that you'll feel better at the end of the day. You will feel as though you has accomplished something, whether you're sitting in that freaking office space cubicle. Every 2 weeks you do that. It's $20 a month. And guess what? Mm-hmm. You gave somebody a meal that will change. And it could be, you never know what it could mean to that person. Right. Don't give people money. I never do that because most of them are either alcoholics or they have some kind of substance abuse. Don't egg into that stuff. It's easy to just do that. No, make a difference and do something along those lines. It's not that difficult. Literally, it'll take an hour of your week.
Mm-hmm.
But and that's just making them and passing them out. That sounds idealistic and whatnot, but it's literally that simple. Mm-hmm. I drive through Baltimore all the time, right? Or DC. Yeah. I drive through both quite often, and I hand out cards all over the place. You know what I mean? Especially if they're veterans. And it's like, seriously, there's,
What kind of cards?
I have either my business card or there's a 1-800 number to help for homeless vets.
Oh, okay. Got it.
It's actually a 1-877 number. But, if homeless vets call that and they'll get the homeless coordinator for their area on the line, And the next thing you know, guess what? They're not on the street, and I'm not kidding you. It's like within days, they're off the street. In theory, So
there's a couple of other notable organizations that I'd like to mention. One is American Veterans, and that's AMVETS. A lot of people call them AMVETS or American Veterans. A lot of really good resources and information there and ways to get involved with that organization. There's the National Association of American Veterans, NAVVETS or NAAVETS.org. And again, all this is going to be in the show notes for this episode. So you can look up all of the organizations that we mentioned here today, as well as any others. Just go out there and get involved. Some other ones that are really I know I've mentioned on the podcast before, like Spartan. It has nothing really to do with the military, although there is a lot of military connection there. but it's an extreme obstacle course. There's a lot of veterans groups that are created around attending those obstacle race events throughout all of the United States, Canada, UK, Australia. They're all over the place. So go on to Spartan.com and find a race near you. Go on to Facebook, find a group in your area that's preparing for a race, and get involved. I mean, if nothing else, you're there, you're with other veterans, and you get to meet people, you get to network a little bit, you get to reach out, and you never know. I mean, you build friends, and then those friends, then you can go and build, make your sandwiches and pass them out as a group instead of passing out 5 lunch sacks in one afternoon. Maybe 10 of you that you meet in these organizations or in these groups, you can go out and pass them out together. So there's just so many ways to get involved, to be involved, and to stay involved. And it can be something as simple as giving somebody a sack lunch to, going, to any of these organizations and just asking them, say, hey, I don't know how to get involved. I just know that I want to. What can I do to help? And that's it. I guarantee you walk into any of these organizations and you say that, they're not going to say, oh, no, I'm good, thanks anyway, and send you out the door. They're going to find a way to get you involved.
Absolutely. Without a doubt.
What other organizations do you have off the top
I
of your
can
head?
think of national organizations like Team Rubicon, which is teamrubiconusa.org. Another good one is Sheepdog Impact Assistance, which is kind of like Team Rubicon, but it also is veterans and first responders. So you've got sheepdogia.org. You've got the Mission Continues, which is a great organization. They are at missioncontinues.org.
Yeah.
You've got like the 6th branch, which I brought up, which is more of a local thing, but again, great place to go and get ideas how you can help your own community. So the 6th branch.org. And then organizations like that are peer support type things, like Warrior Hall, which is my organization. Just go check out the website, warriorhall.org, or like Gallant Few, which is an organization that is fantastic. And then they have a Marine Corps and Air Force counterparts, which I don't remember the Air Force counterpart. I want to say it's like Wings Level, but it's Gallant Few, GALLANT few.org, and then the Marine Corps version of that is the RaiderProject.org. And I want to say the Air Force is Wings Level, but I'm not positive. And they keep expanding every year. So, those are some that are on my radar. Oh, one last one, which is service dog oriented, is a place called OnePet1Vet.com. And then the last one that I've got, which is a nonprofit, is EvacArt.com, which is a way for guys that are artistically inclined, whether it be singing or painting or whatever. It's a way for them and an outlet for them to possibly do some things to either enrich other people or whatnot with their art. And that's EVAC, EVACART.com.
Okay.
So.
Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
Oh, one more.
Oh, okay.
There is the Veterans, I think it's Veterans Cigar Night is what it's called. And it's down in Houston, Texas, and they've expanded to San Antonio, but I know they're looking to expand nationwide. So that is Cigar Night for veterans, and I think they only have a Facebook page. But if you type that up on Facebook,
was it Cigar Night for Veterans or Veterans Cigar Night?
Cigar Night for Veterans.
Okay.
and that is run by a gentleman his name is Carlos Garcia, and he's a great dude. But I know that they're looking for partnerships across the country. And that is a pretty cool thing where a bunch of guys and girls get together, smoke cigars, have a couple drinks, and just it's camaraderie. It's about everything that we need it to be about. So,
Nice.
Yeah, man.
So all right. So really quick, we'll go down the list. Remember, I mentioned the two groups. Category A are those that are in need of assistance and looking for an organization because they are in need of some help somehow, whether it be substance abuse, financial assistance, education information, whatever the case. And then Group B individuals are those that are probably also in need or looking for benefits and assistance, but they are ones that are looking to get involved. How can they give back? How can they volunteer their time? And so we'll go down a list of these 18, and we'll decide, Bennett, you and I, which group A, B, or both that these organizations could help service. So we'll start with the sixth branch.
That's definitely somebody's looking to help out because they're a true service organization.
Okay, so Group B. So if you're in a Group B, the sixth branch would be a way to get involved, or at least go on the site and look at ways that you can help get involved in your local community. We got Mission Continues.
Same thing, Group B.
Group B. Wounded Warrior.
A little bit of both, actually.
A little bit of both.
Yeah, it can be.
That's an A-B combo.
Because they have things like Project Odyssey, which are more centered on self. Yep. But then they also have the different stuff, so.
Okay. Team Rubicon.
Definitely B.
AM Vets or American Vets.
I think they have both.
That's both, yeah. That's a A-B combo. VFW.
Definitely both. Depending on your local, it yep. Really does depend.
The VA itself, of course, is both.
I would say yes, both.
American Legion.
Definitely both. Same thing, based on your local.
Yep. And then Sheepdog Impact Assistance.
Is a B.
National Association of American Veterans. That's going to be both.
Yeah, they're definitely both as well.
And then we've got Warrior Hall.
I would say it's more of I guess it's both.
Okay.
We're not technically up and running yet. We're really trying to get everything going.
Well, that's okay. I tell people, Bennett, that I'm a future New York Times bestseller.
Well, there you go.
Right? So people are like, oh, you're an author? I'm like, yeah, I'm a future, a future New York Times bestseller. So Warrior Hall is going to service A and B. Gallant Few
is definitely A and B, because you could, depending on if you're a mentor. If you're a mentor, then you're helping other vets. But if you need help, you can also call them as well. So.
And then we got the Raider Project.
Same. It's just part of Gallant Few.
And then same as Wings Level, and I'll find the links to this.
Yep.
And One Pet, One Vet.
That is a service dog organization. So if you need a service dog, it is a great place to at least get started.
Okay, so we're going to say Group A, but
yeah.
There's probably ways to volunteer to get involved with that.
Well, one of the
really
things that's cool with them is they also have this thing called this place called the Oasis, which is out in Illinois, and it's literally like a place that veterans can go and just heal.
Yeah. So One Pet, One Vet. Sounds like you're a vet and you have a pet.
Yeah. She's barking in the background, so and I can't stop her. So
sorry,
it is what it is.
evacart.com.
That is definitely you're looking to kind of make an impact. So I guess it would be I don't know. Probably a B, I guess, because it's kind of a way for you to heal yourself along with, maybe influencing others as well.
All right. And Cigar Night for Veterans
is a B.
It's a B. All right.
Lots of
so,
B's.
18. So we got 18 ways in 2016 you can get up off your ass and get involved. And all of these links will be provided on the show notes of this episode. Find one that interests you. It doesn't have to be on this list, but if you're sifting through the, what did I say, the 78,100,000 results for veterans organizations.
Right.
If you're just inundated with information and you just want somebody to point you in the right direction, pick one of these 18 and figure out how you can get involved.
Or find your own.
And find your own. And you know what? And then when you do, go to the show notes page and go to the bottom in the comment section and let us know who you are, which organization you picked, what you're doing to get involved, and tell us a story of how you've helped somebody else. I want to hear the story about, you spending $10 and go making sandwiches and passing them out. I mean, that would be, I would love to have an episode down the road in 2016 where we revisit this again and maybe bring some of you on the podcast and have you talk to listeners about your experiences and how you found, these organizations to be beneficial and how you were able to help other veterans. I think that would be an awesome podcast episode I would love to host.
Yeah, man.
All right. Yeah, last word, Bennett.
I don't really have one. Just go out there and change the world, guys.
That's it. Get it done.
It's unacceptable to not do it.
Right.
You've done way more in your life than you can even imagine. Now, just let's put some of that out there and change the world, period.
That's it. The world isn't going to change itself. You've got to get out there and change it. All right, great. Hey, thanks for another great episode of Change Your POV podcast. You can find all the show notes and everything we discussed tonight at changeyourpov.com/episode 13. Never miss an episode. Hit subscribe on your podcast player of choice. We have a lot more great information headed your way. And again, here it is. I'm putting it out there. If you want to reach me, you can contact me directly. My email address is Eddie, that's EDDIE, at changeyourpov.com. Hit me up. Ask a question. Let me know what you're doing, how you're going to get involved. Let me help. And if I can't help, let me find out somebody who can. Until next time, thank you and have a great 2016.
Thanks for listening to Change Your POV podcast with Eddie Lazary. Check out more content by going to changeyourpov.com. And remember, your ability and willingness to change your point of view will open doors of opportunity.